Hello, my name is Amaan and I am a legal intern at LEXIS and Company and I am from Faculty of Law, Delhi University, third semester pursuing 3 years law. Today the topic of this video would be the need of euthanasia laws in India. Euthanasia and physician-assisted suicide refers to deliberate action taken with the intention of ending a life in order to relieve persistent suffering. They can be of two types, voluntary or involuntary euthanasia. These both the classification are based on consent, but according to procedural classification, there are active and passive, which are famously known as active euthanasia and passive euthanasia. Passive euthanasia is when life-sustaining treatments are withheld, which was recently allowed in India after the Aruna Shanbhag case. Uh, uh, Active euthanasia is when someone uses a legal substance or a forces to end patient's life, whether by patient or whether a patient's consent or somebody else on its behalf when patient is terminally in or there is no quality of life in the patient's life and he just wants to end his life. This type of active euthanasia is still not recognized in India, but in many developed countries, this law is recognized. There are many concerns regarding this type of euthanasia, but in India, the judiciary and the mindset of the people have not evolved to that level that active euthanasia would be allowed. In many countries, including the USA, a patient can refuse a treatment also that is recommended by a health professional as long as they have properly been informed. They are well informed and they know the consequences of it, and they are of sound mind, so they can actively refuse the life supporting measures and the treatment and end their life. Arguments for euthanasia can be that first of all, the freedom of choice, that advocates argue that a patient should be able to make their own choice, and second is the quality of life. Only the patients really know how they feel and how the physical and emotional pain, the turmoil of their life, and the illness and the prolonged death impacts the quality of life. Only the patient knows the condition. Everybody can just decipher from seeing the patient condition, but the actual control should be given in the patient's hand. The third is the dignity part, the dignity aspect. Many people live their life with their head held up high. So when their quality of life has decreased, they do not want to live that life, so they just want to end their life. Second, there can be many witnesses. Some people have seen their loved ones or the people who have been prolonged with their sufferings and misery, and then they have died a slow, painful that so they do not want to be that person, so they wanted to end their life. So I think these are some valid points. And the next point, uh, according to the country, there can be resources because this euthanasia, if legalized, will take a less toll on the resources, the even the timely resource and the monetary resources. It takes more sense to channel the resources of a highly skilled staff, equipment, hospital beds, medication towards life-saving treatments to those who wish to live rather than those who do not. And it is more human to allow a person with irresistible suffering to be allowed to choose and end that suffering. And the loved one also, it can help shorten the grief and sufferings of the loved one. So the practical arguments can also be that because it is possible to regulate euthanasia, there the misuse can be regulated, on which the cons are being argued. So if there are panel of doctor who first have to scrutinize that the person giving the consent is actually giving it voluntarily and there are no outside harm in it. So and he is just affecting his life is not being affected by anyone else. So I think that can be made possible. Allowing people to die may free up scarce health resources. Euthanasia, it happens anyway already in a utilitarian or consequential argument. We see that if someone's pets on animals is in misery, we just try to put an end to their life. So how are we arguing this argument? Because if it is already happening in a society and people have accepted it, so uh, why a person is not given up choice to end his life if he wants to? There can be philosophical arguments, and euthanasia satisfies this category criteria that moral rules must be universal. So the last point that I want to point out is that Is death a bad thing? Because which is a utilitarian argument for euthanasia. I think it doesn't. I do not have the answer to that now, but it is something that should be pondered upon, because just banning the concept of euthanasia, the active euthanasia, is not a solution. Is not a solution to this problem. So, guys, thank you for watching the video, and please remember this video does not violate any guidelines of Bar Council of India and does not solicit or promote any of the advertisement, and sole purpose is educational of this video. And please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already to see more of this content in future, and I'll be coming back with the topic of abortion laws in India. And please do provide a feedback to this video, and if you have a question, please post the question and I'll try to respond to it. Thank you.